Welcome back for another video. We're going to keep it short and sweet today. We've got one game week to go and there's still some big games to be had. In this one we're going to answer who are the best players to buy for Gameweek 38. There's lots of differentials to discuss in this one as well. If you're looking for maximum upside as a final gameweek punt, let's get into it. Starting off with the keepers. The standout fixtures from a defensive perspective is Arsenal home to Everton, City home to West Ham. Raya's on 4.4 projected points and Ederson 4.0. Ederson was brought off early in the win over Spurs after a collision with Romero. It wasn't a concussion substitution though, so Ederson owners should be fine. When the camera switched to him, he looked absolutely fuming to be brought off. Elsewhere, you could make the case for Liverpool home to Wolves as well. Klopp's send-off game, and it's at Anfield as well. Though I'd avoid Alisson, the defenders look more tempting, which we'll cover next. From a clean sheet perspective, Arsenal are top. They're given a 51.5% chance of a clean sheet, the only team over 50%. Man City 47%, Liverpool 44.5%. Despite the loss to City, Spurs played really well, and they've got a favourable final fixture against Sheffield United. If you've got the Vicario and Petrovic rotation, then start with Vicario, who's on 3.6 points. Petrovic is on 3.3 this week. Realistically, you're likely to be sorted in the goalkeeper department at this stage, so let's move on to defenders. Top of the defenders table for the final game week is Trent of 5.4 points. He's someone I'm strongly considering myself. If you've got 2 free transfers, there's the opportunity to sell someone like Bruno for a cheaper mid to free up the money for a punt on Trent. Make no mistake, Liverpool's defence hasn't been great recently. Their last clean sheet was Gameweek 27. But it's going to be a historic match for Klopp's send-off, and the gut feeling says there's lots of goals in this one. I remember in Alex Ferguson's last game in charge of Man United it ended 5-5, which obviously wouldn't be great owning a defender in terms of negative points for goals conceded. But you don't pick Trent purely for clean sheets. At 10% ownership, he's a massive upside pick. He's returned 12 points twice this season and 13 points earlier as well, and we know he's capable of more. Gabriel, White, Saliba and Tomiyasu make the table, odds-on favourites to keep a clean sheet. And if you're happy with where you are in the rankings or your mini-leagues, then adding an Arsenal defender to your team is a sound strategy as well. Gabriel and White the best 2 to own. If you're tight for money, I'd say I should line up with Tomiyasu and left back again. A tried and tested pick the last few games, and it seems unlikely that he'd shake things up with one game to play. There's still a chance of winning the league, albeit unlikely. Spurs against Sheffield United is another fixture I feel is going to have a lot of goals in it. If you've got Porro, definitely play him, and if you've not got him, consider buying. Vardiol's the only City defender to make the table. Well played if you picked him up for the double game week. Ridiculous 27 pointer. Over the last 6 games played, he's got 66 points, which is top in the league. Onto the midfielders, and there's some huge points to be had this week. It's Son top with 7.5 points, Saka and Salah on 7, and then Palmer and Johnson just behind. Much like Trent, Son's not done that much of note recently, but if you need a differential captain, he's one of the best this week, and definitely don't sell him. Whatever way you shape it, Sheffield United have conceded a record number of goals in the Premier League season. They're averaging 2.7 goals conceded per game and 17 shots conceded per game. It wouldn't surprise me if this one ends 5-0. For that reason, Johnson is someone I'm considering as a Bruno replacement who's on 6.8 points this week. Salah's been a bit hit and miss recently as well. A 13 pointer against Spurs in Gameweek 36, but that was the only game he actually returned in over the last 6 games. If you've got a feasible route to Salah, he is worth consideration though. I would recommend against taking hits this week unless your team's got tons of issues. 1 week punts from -4 is very rarely worth it. In a similar vein, I'd never take a -4 the week before I plan to wildcard. It's all eggs in one basket basically. When you take hits with a longer term view, there's at least potential for it to be repaid in future weeks. Chelsea home to Bournemouth, and Palmer's another captaincy contender with 6.9 projected points. Leave a comment below with your early thoughts on captaincy. Son, Salah, Palmer, Haaland or perhaps someone else. Havertz doesn't quite make the table with 5.6 projected points, but he's actually my favourite of the Arsenal mids. Things really started to click for him about Gameweek 25. He started every game since then, he's blanked just 3 times. Comparing underlying data, he's gone toe to toe with Saka, however Saka's got penalties included in his data. Since Gameweek 25, Saka's got 6.3 non-penalty expected goal involvement, and Havertz has got 8.3 XGI. So who else doesn't quite make the table but worth consideration this week? Aston Villa have just secured Champions League for next season. It's a dead rubber match in Gameweek 38, away to Palace. Elise and Eze well worth consideration in that 6 million under price bracket. Elise's recent returns are 12, 16, 2 and 13. Newcastle have got an away game. Gordon's on 4.4 projected points, and we know his away record's not as good as his home record, and he might be benchable for that reason. I've got a choice to make between who to bench between Isak and Gordon, and at the moment it's Gordon on the bench. Let's finish up with a discussion on the forwards. Haaland's comfortably top this week, 8.8 projected points versus West Ham. The Golden Boot race looked close just a few weeks ago, but it's wrapped up now. Haaland's got 27 goals for the season, Palmer's on 21. Isak's flag has knocked him down the table with a reported illness. I'm recording just before the Man United game, so let's see if he makes the squad. It seems like the defenders and the midfielders are where the upside picks are this week. If you've got Jackson, start him. João Pedro's back and he makes the table, but he's not in form and he's not the most exciting pick. If your midfield's in good shape, and therefore you can't consider Elise or Eze, then I really like Mateta as a Gameweek38 pick, home to Villa. He's got 9 goals and an assist in his last 10 games. Glasner's done an unbelievable job since taking over, and hopefully they keep Mateta's price low for next season, along with the mids. That wraps up the final players to buy video of the season. Hopefully this helped inspire some ideas for the final game week. Good luck everyone, see you soon for the next one.